Well, CeGeREAL is specialized in large premises for the time being in Ile-de-France. So, but I can talk a little bit from my past experience. And over the last 15 years, Paris always represents between 75 and 80% of the transaction, both on the rental side and the investment side. Second, 90% of the transaction made on the region stay the same, with the exception of 2006 and 2007, meaning that this is two separate worlds not working together. And for example, even in a brokers organizations, or the region and the Ile-de-France, and it's mainly a local insurance or mutual funds investing in the region and not the big international players. We have seen some international players, of course, investing in Lille and in Lyon between 2005 and 2007, but each time it happens, you've seen that in the headlines. There were exceptions, and but I fully agree with Diane. There are secondary market people should look at, because even if there is no rental growth, even if there is a huge upside in the story, there are exactly how we should see a core investment, meaning stability, good tenant. Usually this is subsidiary of national or international groups, and so they can tick all the boxes. Maybe there is an issue on the liquidity, and but this is why this is a local market. People are confident that if they have a 20 or maybe a 10,000 square meters area in Nantes, for example, it's not a big risk, even if they represent 50% of the market, because they're confident they will find a buyer, and usually the buyer, they know it very well. They know that they will be able to sell it to the 5 or 10 investors they used to work with over the last 20 years. So it's really just a different market, a very good market, and I invite everyone to look at it maybe more precisely.
With regard to secondary markets, here in Paris, in France, we lend mainly in Paris and the Greater Paris region on offices, hotels, and retail properties. We also lend on logistics, but that's by definition then spread in France to mainly the known logistic hubs. Secondary markets, I agree that there would be interesting opportunities, but we have not been able so far to convince our credit committees to follow our proposals into the region. So we stay here in Ile-de-France for the time being. But the reasoning behind is, and that is a lesson that we have learned from the financial crisis, and also the workout cases that we had in following the financial crisis, as pointed out by Gian, the liquidity of a market is a very, very important factor. The ability to exit your investment or to exit your loan if it has become underperforming or non-performing. And this ability depends very much on how a broad number of investors perceive a market. And in Paris, there's such a big number of investors that are interested in any kind of product that market liquidity is there. And also in difficult market situations. And that's the same for other capital cities like London, Warsaw, but it's to a lesser extent the case if you go to Aberdeen or if you go to Lyon. There are players, but I think the number of the potential players is much smaller than in Paris.